lesson of personal training. Are you doing pull-ups wrong or incorrectly? Or are you able to do a pull-up? Would you like to be able to do a pull-up? Would you like to know whether you're doing pull-ups correctly or not? Well, guess what? I'm going to talk to you real quick about making sure you're doing them properly, or if you're trying to get your first one in, then making sure that you start off on the right foot, all right? So if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe, mash that notification bell to be notified as all my new content is dropped, because I want to make sure you guys got the most relevant and easy path to success out there, all right? So if you don't know much about my channel, definitely go back, watch a little bit about who I am and why I feel like when I talk to you guys, I have a different approach, all right? So when doing a pull-up, you want to make sure, one, what are you working? So already knowing what's going to be engaged ahead of time. So primary muscles to secondary muscles to opposing muscles, right? So if you just reached up and grabbed a pull-up bar, then most likely you already know your obviously fingers are working. Your forearms are working. Your biceps are working. Your shoulders shouldn't be working too much. And the primary muscle being your lats. Okay, your lats, your serrators, which are up right across through here. And, you know, that's really what you want to be going. And obviously your core, your abs. So it's actually kind of funny. I got a little story for you about that. Ready? So quick little tidbit is one, you know, I had hernia surgery about 3 years ago now. 3 years ago, yes. But it was hilarious because of the fact that, you know, I felt like I bounced back pretty fast. I was dreading recovery process of hernia surgery. And it's funny because I was in tip-top shape, and you know, it's like one of those things. I mean, I did it probably 5 years ago, but then I didn't even get it healed or operated on until about 3 years ago. So, because I was dreading the recovery process, and it wasn't hurting bad enough to the point where I felt like I needed to go get it right now. So, you know, I still actually even did Spartan races. I mean, there was probably 95% of the exercises I could still do, including deadlifts and pull-ups still at the time. I just had a hard time doing like front squats. And that was really, I mean, I couldn't, there's maybe a couple things. But that was one of the main ones I remember I couldn't front squat. So anyways, where I was going with this is, you know, I didn't need it. I didn't feel like I needed it, even though I could literally see my intestines bulging out of my body. And I heard it literally putting decorations up into our attic. So just extending up and stretching and putting them over there. It wasn't even anything heavy. It was just the awkward motion and movement. So it wasn't from lifting too much weight. It wasn't from doing anything that most people would think a hernia, you know, would come from. But that's what happened. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, okay? I'm just kidding. That's what happened. But anyways, so what happened afterwards is when I came back from my surgery, I was like, man, you know what, I'm going to heal pretty quick. The next day after I got up, I went for a couple-mile walk with my kids. And, you know, I didn't push them on the swing or anything, but just wanted to kind of see where my body was at. I came back to the big old nap. You know, the toughest part was sitting up and getting back into napping/sleeping position. But came back pretty quick. Within a couple days, you know, I was back to pretty much almost jogging / you know, starting to lift a little bit. You know, wanted to obviously be careful. Had my post-op appointments. Everything was looking good. So pretty much started getting back into it about 10 days after. And I went to go do a pull-up for the first time. I was already doing sit-ups, so didn't even think about it. So I reached up, boom, grabbed a pull-up bar, and right away I was like, oh, snap. I could totally feel, you know, my stomach wall, my lining. And didn't do it. Thank goodness I'm, you know, pretty body aware. I wasn't going in any too fast or too crazy. So I was still trying to be conscious of it. But how much your abs are engaged when doing pull-ups. So great way to kind of build into pull-ups too is making sure your core is strong enough. Trying to do exercises where you're hanging to help build your core. So those would always help as well. So that was a pretty big tangent, but I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that core is definitely abs are definitely engaged when doing pull-ups. So you're gonna reach up, grab the bar, overhand grip, because that's a pull-up, right? You want to go slightly outside of your shoulders. When you do this, this is step 101, just because of the fact of you're not trying to go wide to grow wide right now. You're just trying to make sure you're doing proper techniques. So make sure that what's it supposed to be engaged is engaged. So grabbing right outside of your shoulders, so that way you're like kind of negating your shoulders from kicking in too hard, or if you went too narrow, primarily your forearms are engaged too hard also. So the biggest thing with this is you want to be looking up at the bar, and even like when you pass the bar, you want to look beyond the bar. So you're not looking directly at it because you don't want your head to go down once you get up to the bar. Your goal is always, this is like one of the key things. Ready? Massive nugget here. Is driving your chest into the bar. Why? Whether you hit your chest in the bar or not, that's another story. Just because of the fact that if your shoulders don't allow you, you don't force motions, you don't force movements, but that is what you want to do. Because what that has you doing is it has your back and your chest arched up. You're trying to drive your chest into the bar, opposed to staying up super tight and primarily using your biceps and forearms to get you up there. You really want to use your bigger muscles, which are your lats, to help get you up to that pull-up bar. So looking up, and also a lot of times people will try to have their feet back behind them. I'm on a short bar right now just for video purposes, but I want to make sure that your feet are directly underneath you, or if not, even forward. Okay? Because what that does is it helps to keep all your muscles engaged. So you want to be trying to keep as much tight as possible, so that way all your energy being used is going into one spot, right? So if you have your legs engaged, your hands, glutes, calves, all the way up through your body, then pulling in one motion is going to be a lot easier, a lot tighter, and you're going to be able to think about and engaging those lats a lot more. So looking up, feet are in front of you, driving that chest into the bar. Boom. And another huge factor, because you do want full range of motion. So what happens is people will try to go up and they'll come down halfway and try to go right back up. So trying to cheat, and even though they can only probably get 3 correct repetitions, they'll try to get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, half reps. So obviously you're not going to get better at the full range of motion unless you're practicing the full range of motion. But here's the kicker. You don't want to dead hang and let your shoulders absorb the blunt of being unengaged. So your lats being unengaged and putting all that pressure onto your shoulder joint. So you want to make sure that your lats stay engaged. Your arms can be fully extended. You can see a difference right there. My lats are engaged, so my shoulders are not, right? But my arms are fully extended also. So when I go back into that driving my chest to the bar motion, arms are fully extended. Ready? You see the difference? So hopefully you guys saw that difference. You want to make sure you understand that. It's a huge factor. It's going to save your shoulders. And also, another big thing with doing pull-ups is you're going to be able to complete a lot more pull-ups with a aka hook grip, where your fingers are just over top and you're not holding the bar snugly, right? So if you're in a hook grip, you'll be able to do more. You'll be able to, whether it's more repetitions or more weight, but at the same time, this is one of the highest susceptible injuries in the gym, I feel, is if your fingers start to slip off of that grip, it's immediate tendonitis in your elbow. So, and that's that number one injury that people always will have. You'll see tons of individuals with those armbands on trying to keep pressure off of their tendons because of the fact that they've done something where, they tweak the muscle within their forearm, tricep, bicep, and, it's triggering that tennis elbow or whatever you want to call it. So it's got a million names. So you guys ready? You got all the tips? So what are they all? 1, feet in front. 2, arms shoulder width apart, a little bit outside of your shoulders. 3, grab the bar pretty firmly because you're learning how to do this in a repetitive motion for technique purposes. 4, looking up, and also 5, driving your chest into that bar. So you don't want to stay tight like this and look forward. You're getting more of your arm engaged opposed to more of your lats engaged, okay? So hopefully you guys love every single one of those tips because they are important, right? Importante. So I don't even know what I did with my remote. So that's one of those things that's obviously having a visual impairment and having to go reset something. Sometimes I get caught up in talking to you. All right. So hopefully you guys enjoy those tips. Hopefully you guys understand the technique of a pull-up. I just want to make sure that you guys, and why you want to master pull-ups is because it's like the daggone best upper body exercise, and you're just a badass when you're able to crush them. So what's a good number, a good goal? 3 obviously is the military standards to passing a test. 16 would be a tremendous, athlete knocking out 16 good full range of motion pull-ups. But typically once I get past 10, 12 with people, I'll have no problem either A, having them hold weights with their feet, or B, putting on a weight belt and incrementally adding weight to their body so that way they are able to pull heavier weight and stay in that 8 to 12 rep range. So, all right, guys, BK, PT, Brent Casper Personal Training. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Mash that notification bell to be notified as all my new content is dropped. And I will see you